Let's pretend you're a farmer. You grow oranges and apples, even pomegranates, all in separate fields on your farm. Now, to have such a huge fruit farm, you've set up a pretty awesome irrigation system. Networks and networks of pipes that reach out to every square metre of your farm, providing a watering nutrition to each of the fruit trees. Your farm is thriving, but one day one of the smaller pipes gets clogged. Rocks and dirt have piled up and stopped the flow of water to a trickle. Your apple trees, no longer being nourished, shrivel up and die. Even after fixing the blockage, there is no way to resuscitate a dead apple tree. Surprisingly, I'm not here to tell you about fruit farm irrigation. I'm here to tell you about ischemic stroke. The farm is your brain, the irrigation pipes, your blood vessels. A block in one of your blood vessels and an area of your brain is dead. My name is Stephanie Cage, and today I'll be telling you about ischemic stroke and how stem cells could be the next biggest way out. Stroke is the third leading cause of death in Australians. Every year, about 55,000 Australians have a stroke, accounting for a huge 1.7% of our population. An ischemic stroke happens when a cholesterol plaque or a blood clot becomes stuck in a blood vessel of the brain. Blood can't reach this particular tissue, depleting it of oxygen, glucose, and nutrients, ultimately leading to neuronal cell death. What does this mean? A region of cell death will cause stiff or paralyzed muscles, numbness, blurred vision, and slurred speech, to name a few, all on one side of the body. Different areas of the brain are responsible for particular movements, sensory stimulations, and bodily functions. The section of the brain for relaying, for example, peripheral vision, when that section dies, we lose that function. Once a neuron is dead, it cannot be regrown. While 85% of ischemic stroke patients survive, only 10% of these people recover back to full independence. Most are left with permanent disability. There are no pharmacological treatments, and recovery is based entirely around physical therapy. With no way of predicting a stroke, it's easy to see just how serious a toll it can take on your quality of life, and just how easy it could be you. If only there was a way to regrow these dead neurons in the brain. Can we replace the dead tissue with new growing tissue and leave permanent disability in the past? Magic 8 Ball says yes. If only we could trust a Magic 8 Ball. But it does have a point, and that point is stem cells. Stem cells have come into the picture in the past 5 years as a possible treatment for ischemic stroke patients. Stem cells are in their early developmental stage, which means they haven't yet been differentiated into specifically functional cells, such as muscular tissue, lung tissue, or neuronal tissue. This is why they can be so helpful. What is stopping us from taking stem cells that are found naturally forming in the body and putting them somewhere where we need them to regenerate? Areas like dead brain tissue in ischemic stroke patients. Well, this has been a hot topic for neuroscientists in recent years. Neuronal and mesenchymal stem cells have been the two most commonly trialed stem cells. While neuronal stem cells are found in particular areas of the hippocampus and third ventricle, mesenchymal stem cells are found in bone marrow, muscle, adipose, and other tissues. However, they both can differentiate into neural tissue. This includes neurons themselves, but also essential surrounding structures, astrocytes and oligodendrocytes. These all together make up the nervous architecture of our brain. Alongside neurogenesis and angiogenesis, stem cells stimulate the body's natural recovery mechanisms. If stem cells are used correctly, they have the ability to regenerate areas of the brain destroyed by ischemic stroke, giving hope for the rebuilding of nervous pathways. Muscular movement, clear vision, coherent speech that had all been lost may be retained. It's just like planting new apple seeds for regrowth on our fruit farm. As of February 2018, there were 53 ongoing trials using stem cells to target ischemic stroke. In theory, it seems like the next big thing for stroke patients, but as usual, there are many speed humps on the road to its full understanding and usability. We are currently borderlining the preclinical and clinical stages. Most current clinical trials have been based around finding the maximum tolerable dosage, transplantation methods being either intravascular in the first 24 to 48 hours of a stroke or intracranial for chronic patients, and the safety and practicality surrounding each of these ideas. Of many trials, the most conclusive have been with intra-arterial transplantation of mesenchymal stem cells derived from the bone marrow. In a 2016 Spanish study of 22 participants, a particular dosage of 310 million cells resulted in a great 80% sensitivity and 88.2 specificity. Efficacy of these trials has been the biggest challenge in the stem cell race. Before this can be taken further clinically, trials must be across a wider sample population and give consistent findings. The studies, however, have been giving encouraging outcomes. Although not consistent, there lies solid evidence that stem cells can work to treat ischemic stroke injury. In a Steinberg study on an individual patient, muscular movement and control in the legs had returned to the patient as soon as she had woken up from a stem cell intracranial surgery. And there are many other cases just like this. With successful neurofunctional improvements, it is obvious that stem cell transplantation has huge potential to relieve stroke patients of permanent disability and provide hope for a largely increased quality of life. It may just be a matter of time before stem cells revolutionize treatment for stroke patients. It has the potential to help the paralyzed walk once again. Now that's exciting.